everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with a quick sprint race at Bathurst driving the GR.4 Megane. We picked this car, it's the strongest car on the track, and in today's video we're going to keep the action on board because there's some really good on-board action side-by-side action. It's really, I want to try and point out some tips in terms of defending whilst we go through the video. So we're going to keep this video on board. It's only a 3-lap race, and obviously this is the qualifying lap that we put up before the entering the race. This was done after the FIA race you may have seen yesterday that I uploaded, where we got took out by the French driver. So I needed to go back on and try and build my SR up, because the first race we did was clean in this Bathurst, and then we did one more race and we just kept getting wiped out in the braking zones, and we actually got knocked down to an A-rated SR driver, so had to just stay on it. We did 3 other races 100% clean and we got our rating back up to S. However, when we went to do the FIA race last night, it didn't put us in the top split, and when I checked on the website to check your stats, it updated the stats from the update. So I'm wondering if the servers had a little bit of delay or something happened, and these 3 clean races, this was one of the clean races that should have put me back up to S, and it didn't happen. So our FIA race last night was with lower ranked players. We were in the lead in that by about 10 seconds, and then the back markers got me all confused and I was lapping people and I ended up spinning and losing time, and then I did another mistake. I just wasn't really concentrating. It tends to happen when I'm in races where I've not got the competition. I just tend to lose interest, and I made a mistake and it just wasn't a really good race to upload. We ended up finishing second still, but we've managed to get through to the top 24 stars race. That's the important thing. We topped the Renault leaderboard for the manufacturers, so we're in that top 24 star race. A really unlucky season in general, but hopefully the luck's going to change in the FIA races. But I wanted to upload this race. This was from the night before. Absolutely brilliant race with respectful driving from the start to finish. Absolutely, I really enjoyed this race. It was only 3 laps, and again I wish it was just a little bit longer. I think 4 or 5 laps would have been better, but this is how it went out, and we're going to show that now. We did have some more races before this, which I'm going to show you something at the end of the race, just to show you something to do with lap times when you're defending, how much time you can actually lose. So we're going to start this race. You can see there we've got a Spaniard behind us, and I think there's an Italian behind that. I think our really good races with that Spaniard there, I'm sure that's the guy who we had an amazing battle with. So it just shows you, a lot of people criticise Spaniard drivers, but there are very, very clean Spanish drivers and French drivers. I know I said on that video about the French, but you still get the very clean drivers. It's just unlucky when you come up against some of the bad drivers. So let's start this race. You can see going into turn 1, I actually got onto the grass a little bit and nearly lost the rear end, but luckily got it into the apex and got on the power fairly soon. You can see there, started to pull away a bit on the straight from the guy behind, but he's going to get our slipstream as we work up this long hill. The Megane really does power up these hills, and on the back section down the hill it's got a lot of straight line speed. So you can see there 3 cars running very close there. We managed to pull away from the rest of the group in this race. So you can see going into this really fast corner, this is where the Megane does struggle in general. You can see it can't put the power down as much as the rear wheel drive cars, and can't carry the speed through these corners, and also going up this hill now and then through the really fast sweeping corners at the top of the mountain. That's where it really does lose a bit of speed. You can see he got really close there. He's looking around the rear of our car. You can see it on that top middle camera and on the replay camera. He's really close, driving really close to us, but he's not coming into contact. He's driving respectfully, and this is what I enjoy. When you get people that understand spatial awareness, it makes the racing so much more fun, because that's one thing I feel I'm quite good at, is the spatial awareness on cars, especially considering I'm using it like the onboard cockpit view. I feel like I've got reasonably good spatial awareness, so when you've got someone else you're racing with that also has that, it makes the racing so entertaining. And you can see that I was really pushing through that section. I wanted to break the slipstream down this hill, so I really pushed through that section. We absolutely nailed that corner, and then going through to this corner before the back straight, I put the power down reasonably early. We're starting to pull away now, but you can see what the slipstream does now. If you look in that top corner where the delta shows, he hit the wall on the exit and still managed to get in our slipstream and started closing in again. So the slipstream was really helping him out, getting back into our toe and being able to put some pressure back on us. So going into these corners again, I just wanted to keep it clean and tidy, braking just after the 150 on the brake, going into this corner in 3rd gear, trying to get as close to that curb as I can, and then just being careful of the understeer in the Megane. Obviously it's front wheel drive, so it does build a lot of understeer up if you just plant that foot down. So you can see I'm being a little bit cautious before I put the power down. And again, same thing for the final corner, you've got to be a little bit cautious so you don't run too far wide. You can see there we judged that okay, and then we're coming to go over the line for lap 1 complete, and he's just behind us, and now he's going to start getting into our slipstream a little bit more and putting some pressure on. So you can see going into this corner, I didn't really hook that up. I run a little bit wide and I lose a fair bit of time. So you can see that's enabled him then to get into the slipstream and start putting some pressure on. So he's in the slipstream. You can see me snaking around, trying to break that slipstream and trying to get him out of it. You can see working our way up into this fast right hand corner now, and we're comfortable in terms of the braking zone. He's not going to be able to make any sort of moves here, but he's really close in that slipstream. He's playing it safe. He's a very clever driver, this guy. He's not making daft moves. He's not putting his car in stupid places. He's just concentrating on getting in the slipstream and staying behind us until he knows there's an overtaking opportunity, because going through this section you just can't really make any overtakes. You know, I've seen people try stupid moves at Bathurst through this middle section, but anyone with any common sense knows that there's no moves to be made at Bathurst through this section. The best thing you can do is stay in the slipstream and wait for that back straight. If you get in the slipstream for that back straight, that's where you can make your moves. So you can see him, he's just waiting behind us, using our slipstream to stay with us. We're trying to push reasonably hard. You can see they're getting really close to the wall, pushing on the outside, and the Megane really loves this downhill section. This is where the Megane makes a lot of speed up at Bathurst, because you can just chuck it through the corner and it doesn't lose the rear end, and you can just get on the power, going through the corner, push as hard as you like, and it grips really well. That's where I really like the Megane. So going into this final corner, you can see I go in too deep, and then I can't get the power as early as I would have liked, and you can see I'm compromised straight away. So I've got to go think about what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay to the left, because I'm thinking if he's going to go down the right hand side, I need to be able to hold the inside line for the next corner. So you can see me staying to the left. I'm not going to go defensive on the right. I'm going to give him the inside line to this fast corner. I know that he was really close to my car, so he's not going to have a massive slipstream. So you can see we're going side by side at this point. This is great racing, respectful racing. Going into the braking zone, I've got to brake late, but give him the space on the right hand side, because I know he's there. So you can see I give him that car width, and he takes that car width perfectly, and we're now still side by side going into the final corner. I'm going to have to brake a little bit late again. You can see he's a little bit ahead. I brake a little bit late, but again I've got to give him space, and then I tuck in and get on the power as early as I can. So we've managed to hold that position with some really great battling going on there. You can see I've got to go defensive again, because he got the clever exit on the corner. He gave himself a good exit, and again I've got to brake late and then try and get the apex nice and tight and get on the power really early. Again, we do that really well and hold that line perfectly and defend really well. We don't go overly defensive. I just give myself a reasonable line, and then again I'm going to stay over to the right hand side. You really need to do that, because there's no way someone's going to be able to overtake you on this left hand side. You can see we're side by side again, and I'm just going to hold the inside line, brake early, hold the inside of the apex, and get on the power as early as I can. And you can see again he just can't go around the outside on that corner. So some really respectful racing. Let's have a watch of that from the replay cameras. As you can see, going side by side, this is what I like to see on GT Sport, and I think this is what everyone likes to see when you've got two racers giving each other respect and driving fair. Look at the way we go through this corner now. This just highlights how respectful this is. Side by side, no contact, each giving each other space all the way through the corner, side by side. No one's barging each other, no one's coming into contact, and then going into the final corner again, he doesn't cut me up, he gives me the space, I give him space, I go into the corner inside, he goes for the wider line to give a better exit. Very clever driving. So I then have to go defensive, and again he doesn't just dive bomb up the inside. He's a clever driver, he knows how to drive, and then again we take the inside line, get on the apex so we can get on the power really early, and again we go to the defensive line and stay over to that right hand side and give him the space on the left. So some great racing there, and again this carries on all the way up the hill. He gets side by side with us. You can see that other Megane trying to get in on the action as well. So this was actually 3 cars driving within a second of each other. It's so fun to be involved with these type of races. Again, going through his final corner, you can see again I stay on the inside, give him the space on the outside, and he can't make his way around the outside, especially in the Megane. Maybe in a rear wheel drive car he would have had a little bit more chance so he could get on the power and control the turning a bit better, but not with the Megane. So we hold that position and we managed to keep the lead. So you can see again working our way up the hill now, and we've just got to hold this off for one more lap. This is the final lap in this 3-lap sprint race, going up the hill, trying to get on the power reasonably. I really wanted to give myself a gap going down the back straight, so you can see me pushing reasonably hard through this middle sector now, really getting close to the wall, pushing as hard as I can, and just trying to get every corner reasonably well done. I don't want to make an error. One error is going to get him right back in that slipstream. You can see I managed to pull a bit away through this section where it's more about the driving and the technique stuff. So going down the hill again, this corner, I really do like these set of corners in the Megane. It just feels so nice in the Megane. It's a shame that this wasn't on the FIA race that came up, but obviously you would have probably found a lot more people would have picked the Renault if that would have been the case. So going into the final corner, this time I've got to concentrate on getting a really nice tight entry into that corner and then getting on the power really early, and we managed to do it this time. but he's still going to be able to get in our slipstream. You can see that delta, even though we got on the power really early and well, he's managing to just close in on that delta. He's going down to 3 temps nearly. It's getting down 4 temps, 3 temps now, and he's gaining. So I'm going to have to go defensive in case he's going to try and do it, some sort of lunge into his corner. As you can see, looking at his view, he's getting really close. I go to the left, he breaks early, tries to go around the outside, but he can't do that. I hold that line, get on the power reasonably early there, giving him space just in case he was going to make a move. And then he's having a little look, he's darting around. He actually does a little fake move to the left here now, but I'm not going to fall for that. I just stay in the middle of the track, try and take a nice tight entry. He loses out a little bit on the exit, and he nearly loses his position into P2 there. You can see P3 has a little look at going past him, but he just doesn't make it count, and the finishing positions end as it started. A great battle, under 1 second between the top 3, and that's what we want to see on GT Sport. Respectful, clean racing, and I really enjoyed being involved with that race. So just to show you just how much lap times we were losing on that race, we were in the 2 minutes 13s. Have a look at this race. This was when I was driving on my own in another race, just trying to get a clean race. Lap 2, a 2 minute 11.8, a full second and a half quicker than when we were defending. And then we go over the line, I think it's just pretty much identical lap on the final lap, another 2 minutes 11.8. So you can see there, again, the fastest lap, 2 minutes 11.8. So it really does highlight what it does lose you in terms of lap time, defending so hard and trying to concentrate on holding someone off, and that's why you end up with cars grouping together like it was there, the 3 cars. But it was great defensive driving, and I enjoyed being involved with that race, and hopefully we can get some more races like that. Hopefully tonight's FIA race is going to be an enjoyable one. It's the top 24 all-star race. I will be in it. It's at Suzuka in the GR.4 Renault. Not too confident with the car because the hairpin with the RS01, there is a severe issue with that car. When you brake, it just snaps on you every time. If you want to try it out, have a go into arcade mode, go into time trial, put the BOP on, keep the racing R tyres on, and then go through to that hairpin and watch the way the car handles. I'm going to have to do some really clever driving at just trying to keep the car on the track through that corner. It's going to be a scary race, 18 laps with tyres wearing out. I'm not too sure on the strategy that I'm going to go for yet, but it's going to definitely be a difficult one with the tyres wearing out and trying to get it through that corner. Everywhere else on the track, the car is really strong. It's one of the strongest cars at the track. It's just that one corner, it just wants to kill me every time I go through it. So hopefully we can last 18 laps without too many errors and get a reasonable result, and then we can get that race uploaded tomorrow. So make sure you check back tomorrow. I'm going to try and get the FIA top 24 stars race uploaded tomorrow, and that'll be Sunday. So thanks again for watching this video. I know it's a short one today, but it was just a really enjoyable sprint race to be involved with. I wanted to share that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. We'll be back with more of these videos on GT Sport, including the FIA races, daily races, etc., and more Assetto Corsa eventually when we get round to getting back on the game, and more Project Cars 2 videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.